My next question is, do you think a plant-based diet will help to save the planet?
I think that, I could answer you that no very quickly as well, but I'll try and be more expansive. One of the reasons I don't think it's really going to help the planet was summed up very succinctly by a professor called Miles Allen, who works with the Leap School at the University of Oxford here and has served on the IPCC's committee. And he was quoted as saying that, yes, we could eliminate the methane from cattle, and get rid of them all. And this would impact and lower global temperatures by a few tenths of a degree over the next 20 years. But, he said, if we do not get to grips with the global warming being caused by fossil fuel consumption, pretty much everything else is irrelevant. That's a big statement. Everything else is irrelevant. So, yes, we could have some impact if we stopped eating meat, but it would not make a difference that would be significant enough to the world and to global warming. It's a bit like rearranging the deck chairs, that's what it is. And in countries such as the UK, that is particularly the case because the emissions that are generated by cattle and sheep, beef cattle and sheep, amount to approximately 5.8% of our total here. Well, transport of all kinds is 24%. You have industrial and residential use, that's about 35%. You have energy at another 20%. So you have these massive generators of emissions and this tiny one over on the side, which we're paying way too much attention to. Now, that is also, that point is made more significant by the fact that those emissions, I believe, are exaggerated in the first place. So there are many ways in which the emissions allocated to cattle are disproportionately high. So one of those problems is that we're using a metric which is not really suitable for measuring the emissions from cattle. So we're using a metric called GWP 100 instead of the new recommended metric, which is GWP star. And so the old metric, the 100 metric, it has been acknowledged, overstates emissions from cattle by about 3 to 4 times. Overstates the warming effect of emissions from cattle by 3 to 4 times. That's pretty significant, 3 to 4 times overstatement. There are numerous ways. Those numbers don't take into account sequestration. Now, your listeners are probably aware of what sequestration is, but in case they're not, sequestration is a process by which a farming practice, can help the soil to draw carbon out of the sky. So it's a net benefit to the environment. And cattle raised in the right way, on the right pasture, can create those conditions for sequestering carbon, for storing it underground, which is exactly what we want. And that's where it should be, not in the sky, underground. And that the ability of cattle to do that is really underestimated in all of these numbers. And people talk about these numbers, these emissions numbers, as if they're fixed in stone, as if they're accurate to the 10th degree. They are a moving target. We're constantly learning that one sector has more, another sector has less. Just last week, it was reported that the methane from industry has been vastly understated. So we have to stop pretending that we have this fixed emissions pie and that we know exactly who's contributing what to it. It's much more of a movable feast than that. It's much more complicated. And in the process of trying to simplify it, we're demonizing cattle, which is actually probably the least important of all the problems that we have to fix.
Thanks for watching the Radical Health Rebel YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to share with your friends and family or share via your social media. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of new video clips from the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode, completely ad-free, plus premium content, and join the Radical Health Rebel Patreon community, head on over to the Radical Health Rebel Patreon channel at www.patreon.com/Radical Health Rebel. Thanks again for watching.